Welcome to Meetings in Math. We're going to be doing subtracting rational numbers, a bonus lesson. We're specifically looking at fractions. I know fractions can be a little bit sticky, so we're going to take an extra special look at those. So again, our essential question is, how can I subtract rational numbers? You're going to need a pen and a pencil. Your Jaguar Jots on page 22 is the lesson we're going to be looking at. And of course, you always need your problem-solving skills. Now, we're not going to be doing all the problems on this, just a handful. Now, everybody has a different way that they might handle these. I personally like to put all of my numerators on the top so that I can see the problems that I'm working with. My denominators need to be the same. And so in this case, they are. So I can start right in on this problem. So I have 5 minus 3 over 4. So I'm just rewriting the problem. I know that, and my first step I can move across, and then after that I want to move down. So 5 minus 3 I know is 2. And I always reduce. So I can divide the top and the bottom by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2, so my answer is 1/2. So that's the very basics in adding and subtracting a fraction. I could do that here as well. We're going to skip the ones with common denominators, and we're going to go to a different one that looks a little more confusing, and that's number 5. Number 5 is a whole number subtracting a fraction. So when we have that, we need to remember that whole numbers always sit over a 1. So right here we get into, we don't have common denominators. So we have 6 over 1 minus 1/6. Notice I left a gap there. I left the gap because we are going to multiply by a fraction that is equivalent to 1. Because I don't want to change how much the fraction is worth. So I can always multiply by 1. That doesn't change how much it's worth. So it has to be the same number over itself. I'm never going to multiply by a single number like 7 or 8. It always would have to be 7 over 7 or 8 over 8. So in this case, I have a 6 and I have a 1. So I'm going to multiply by 6 over 6, meaning this 6 right here. And I'm actually not going to do anything here, because if I multiply 1 times 6, I'm going to get my common denominator that I'm looking for. So I know 6 times 6 is 36, and then I have minus 1 over 6. Now I don't have a whole lot of room here, so I'm going to go ahead and go 36 minus 1. So I don't know if you necessarily saw that. This is what I just did. I did 36 minus 1. Is 35 over 6. Sometimes we run out of room. That's okay. Do an arrow and an equal sign. You want to make your work so nice and neat that nobody's going, well, where'd that work go? Sometimes you can leave your answer just like this, but because I have a whole number out here, I'm going to go ahead and go into a mixed number. If I had another fraction out here, say it was a fraction of 2/3, I would have just left it like this. But since it's a whole number or a mixed number, I'm going to give that kind of answer here. So I'm going to take my 35. I'm going to go find a piece of scratch paper. Okay, that means I don't necessarily need to see it over here in this part of the work, but maybe over here. I'm going to do it. 35 divided by 6. That happens 5 times with a remainder of 5. So my answer is 5 and 5/6. Please make sure you're boxing in your answer so people can find it. All right, let's look at this one. This one's getting a little crazy. Okay, the first thing we need are common denominators. Don't worry about all those negatives and all that quite yet. We'll worry about the common denominators first, and then we'll worry about the rest. First thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to bump that negative up with that 4. So negative 4/5. Leave a little bit of a blank, minus 7/8. Okay. I am not going to worry about finding the least common multiple. I am just going to take, because I'm going to make my life easy is why, I'm just going to take the 5 and the 8 and multiply by those. So I'm going to multiply this by 8 over 8. not 8. If I multiplied it by 8, I would have made it 8 times bigger, and I don't want to do that. 5 over 5. Negative 4 times 8 is negative 32. 4 times 5, 40. Minus 7 times 5 is 35 over 40. I am going to rewrite this all on the numerator. The numbers are getting bigger. I can't do it in my head as quickly as I could the one above. So I have negative 32 minus 35 over 40. And I am out of room. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go someplace else. I'm not going to try to squash it. It's going to say see back. But tell me where to go. Okay? So on my back, it's going to say number 9. It's going to be labeled. I'm going to rewrite the problem I have so far. Negative 32 minus 35 over 40. I'm rewriting the part I have. Now I can keep going. I'm going to rewrite my subtraction as addition. Go ahead and go. You can do 1 equal sign over, but that's it. Just 1. Anything more than that's like a run-on sentence. So I have negative 32 plus a negative 35. Oh, I suddenly know what I'm supposed to do with those. I'm going to add 32 and 35. What is that? 67? But it's negative. Remember when I said I can leave it like that? If they're just fractions, and they are, there isn't a number that I can think of that goes into 67 and 40. Okay, so that's my answer. I am going to take that number though, and I'm going to write it over here as well. So when I have to do some of that back and forth, I am going to make it easy for my reader, whoever's reading my work, to see, yes, I finished the problem, see back for the rest of the work. All right, let's look at this last one. What do I have? Oh, that's so nice. I have common denominators. You try it and then come on back. See how you did. 1/3. Let's just make that one big problem. Minus a negative 5 all over 3. Let's change that. Minus a negative 5. What is that? That's really 1 plus 5 over 3, which is 6 over 3. That reduces, doesn't it? That's 2. Always, always, always reduce. Let's write that at the very top of our paper so we don't forget. I'm so glad that you joined us today on subtracting integers and rational numbers and really took the time to dive deep into fractions. I want you to write down 2 important things about subtracting rational numbers on this page right here. And I can't wait to see you again in our next lesson. Remember, be kind to each other because we can always use some kindness in our lives. I'll see you again next time. Bye.